to come earlier.
Yeah. And the traffic jam also. Sorry.
Okay. Luckily, because I booked the room, so luckily this room is here. I also I booked until 10 o'clock. Okay.
I'm Sung Jae.
Sun Ji.
I'm Wilson.
Wilson.
I'm Ming Chuan.
Ming Chuan.
Yeah.
You share.
Okay. So, okay. Just sit down. Yeah, please take a seat.
All right.
Don't feel shy.
Actually, we came like 1 hour earlier.
You came 1 hour earlier.
Yeah, we go to the wrong place and the traffic problem, so
Where did you go?
the Surya Tower.
Surya Tower is just near here, 3 blocks away.
And now we went to the building beside us.
Oh, okay. You didn't check on the map before you come?
But the map didn't show clearly where is the Manara case.
Oh. Actually, if you ask me, I could have given you the direction map. So you didn't ask, I presume you know.
Okay.
Okay, now we start. Okay, so you're from Caylus.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're doing your
Assignment.
sorry?
Assignment.
Assignment. What year are you in?
Yeah.
Foundation.
Foundation.
Yeah.
Oh, 2 years only, right?
One is
1 year only. Oh, okay. Okay, yeah. Can proceed. How you want? What you want already?
Yeah, so we will ask 10 questions. I'll be the one asking.
Okay.
So both of them will drop down the notes. Then both of them will video. Because we need to hand in the video.
Oh, it's going to be video recorded.
So you're a QS, right?
Yes.
Can you explain to us what is a QS?
What is a QS?
Quantity surveyor.
Well, QS in a very broad term is we provide quantity surveying services to our clients. Okay, so what we do is we prepare usually estimates starting from pre-contract when the architect has developed some drawings. Usually the client will need to have a feel of how much that particular building or development will cost. Okay, so that's the initial stage. The architect develops some drawings or some sketches, and we cost up the building according to the architect's design. We take approximate quantities. If the drawings are quite developed, you can measure from the drawing. If the drawings are just very basic.
Good morning. To those members born on the month of May, which have been invited for the birthday party next Monday, kindly confirm your attendance soon as possible for the event arrangement. I repeat, to those members born on the month of May, which have been invited for the birthday party next Monday, kindly confirm your attendance soon as possible for the event arrangement. Thank you.
Okay, so if the plans are just very basic, just plans only, with no details on elevations or sections, we take the areas of the building and then we multiply by that by a rate, cost per square meter. So that is a very rough indication of the cost, basing on the level information that we have from the designers, including the architects or engineers, and that is the basic, most basic form. Okay, then we multiply by a rate, and we work out the cost basing on that method. We call it a cost appraisal. If the information is more detailed, we can see the rooms, the walls, some elevations, the height of the building, and we can take approximate quantities. So we go and take approximate quantities and we develop that, we prepare a cost plan.
Okay. What are the qualifications to be a QS?
Well, after you do your tailors, I presume you will proceed to the undergraduate courses, right? Either locally or overseas. Then you graduate, then you need to register with a local professional body, which is the Royal Institute of Surveyors Malaysia, and also with the Board of Quantity Surveyors Malaysia. You do a practical for 2 years, and then you submit a logbook, then attend an interview, and then you sit for an exam.
Okay. Could you tell us, right, in a project, before and during, after the project, what is the role? The QS has different roles, right?
Yeah, what I explained to you earlier was at the beginning of the project. So we have a few stages, what we call pre-contract and post-contract. Pre-contract will involve estimating. We prepare, I mentioned just now, 2 methods of calculation, cost appraisal, cost plan. Once that has been developed and agreed, we move on to the next stage, we call tenders. So it's called tendering stage. Tendering stage, the architects, engineers, structural engineer, M&E engineers, landscape architect, how to prepare tender drawings. Then we measure quantities from the tender drawings. We measure the structure, concrete, reinforcement, formwork. We measure the architectural works, the brick walls, doors, windows, floor finishes, ceiling finishes, external works, drains, water pipes, sewer pipes, gates, fences.
So normally it's everything.
Everything. Huh? So that's the tendering stage. So when the tendering stage, we prepare also the rest of the documents which have the form of tender, where the contractor sign on the document. We include the conditions of contract. Locally, we use the local conditions of contract, which is issued by PAM, which is Pertubuhan Architect Malaysia. So that will go into the document as part of the conditions of contract. So that's the tendering stage.
Okay.
Then when the contractor submits the tender, at the closing date, all the contractors submit the tender. Then we collect the documents, we open the documents, and then we inform the client. Say there are 5 contractors or 8 contractors. Each contractor would have a different price.
Oh. So they select the
Yeah. Then we inform the client, the tenderers' prices. After we have opened the tenders, and then we do a tender report. We analyze the submission, check for arithmetical errors, any discrepancies, anything that is not right in the document, any qualification, any letters that they write in to say that their price is basing on certain assumptions or certain qualifications. Then we prepare a report and we submit that to the client. And then the client studies that report, and they will then decide whether they want to invite all the contractors or invite only certain contractors based on the pricing for an interview. Say there are 5 contractors submitting their prices. Some of them submit very competitive or very good low price within, some of them very high. So the client may want to select only the low ones or select all
the best one for themselves.
So they decide. Then we conduct tender interviews. Then we talk to the contractor, we ask them any clarifications that they are not sure why they price the document in a certain way. We ask the contractors questions and then they reply us. And then the architect also may have some questions to ask the contractor. So it will be an interview session, and then after that they resubmit the tenders, usually a week later. We resubmit based on what was discussed. If there are changes in the documents, we will issue addendums to the documents,
Okay.
addendums to amend the document.
Okay.
Okay, then they submit, they resubmit, and then we open again the documents, and then there may be another round of interview until the client is satisfied with the price. Then they award the contract to one particular contractor.
So normally, how long does it take for all this to happen?
All this may take from tender. You're talking about tendering or
Just tendering.
tendering? May take tendering process usually depending on the size of the project. If it's very big, it can take 1 month to 2 months. Because contractor needs to price every item. The document will be depending on the project. So certain documents are in few volumes.
Oh.
So contractor take 1 month or 1.5 months or 2 months. They will submit, and we QS will take about 1 week or so to evaluate, and then we prepare the report. So and then after that the interview, and then the resubmission. All in all, it takes about from tendering to end can last about 3 months or 4 months, depending on how smooth the project is. If a lot of problems on the design or the pricing is not right, then we ask the contractor to resubmit, and then we negotiate, and then it will take on longer time. If quite smooth, then maybe 2 to 3 months. Then we award. We issue a document called a letter of award to the contractor, to the successful contractor, to award the works to him at how much, how many million, and then we will list out on the conditions.
So he will be responsible for it.
Yeah, he's supposed to construct according to the drawings, the tender drawings prepared by the architect, the engineers, let's say architect, civil engineer, structural engineer, and then he will construct. The price is based on the BQ that we have prepared.
Okay. Then during the project, when it's constructing.
Okay, then it's called a post-contract. Okay, once you award already, we will give him a deadline. You can start on this date, and you must complete by another date.
Oh.
So the duration can depend on the size of project. Can be few weeks, few months to few years, depending on the project. Right. So there's a completion date of commencement and a completion date. The contractor has to complete within the time. Then he proceeds with the work on site. He starts to construct the building, right? And then each month they will submit a claim, a progress claim for work done.
Or like a report.
There's a claim by the contractor. Because they have constructed work, at the end of the month they will submit a claim to the client, and then we as QS, we will go to the site and do a site evaluation. That means we go to the site and check what did the contractor claim. They claim for, I've done the footings 10%, I've done the excavation for pile caps 50%. Then we will go to the site and physically look, check. See whether what the contractor claim is correct or not. They say I've done 50% of the pile caps. Then we check whether what they claim is true or not.
Okay.
If it's not true, we will correct it and we put our percentage. We may pay them only 40%, they claim 50%. So in our judgment, we do some calculation, it works out to be about 40%. So therefore, we will pay 40% of the pile caps. And then ground beams, how many percent, ground slab, how many percent. So the claim will have all the percentages of the work done. Monthly, every month. Then we prepare our recommendation, we submit to the architect to recommend payment to the contractor. Then the architect will issue his certificate and issue to the client to recommend payment to the contractor. And the client has usually 30 days to pay to the contractor. So every month, this process will repeat until the completion of the project.
So what happens after the completion? So
Okay, along the way, usually there are changes. Okay, either the architect changes some design or the owner wants to make some changes to the layout of the building. The rooms, or certain rooms may want to be enlarged, or they change the finishes to the floor. They want to add a new door, remove some windows, things like that. Cut costs or change of design, maybe to look better. So all this will involve changes to the price, right? So we call this variations to the contract, right? And the architect will issue an instruction to the contractor to vary the work. And then he will issue a document asking the contractor to add the window or make the door, change the floor finishes in an instruction, usually with some drawings. And then the contractor will estimate the cost of this, and then he will submit a variation order claim.
like adjustments.
And there can be addition or omission.
So once the building is completed, right, is your job finished? Or
Once the building is completed, then what we do is we move to the next stage. We call it the final accounts. Final accounts is where we capture, just now I mentioned you all the variation, right? We usually give it a number of variation on VO, we call it VO short, VO1, VO2, how much. We calculate that, we agree with the contractor, because the contractor submit a claim for VO1. They submit a figure, we may not agree to it, we may adjust, we have to discuss with the contractor, check the quantities and the rates, whether what they claim is fair market rate. If the contractor submit a too high or too expensive, we will adjust the rate accordingly. And the quantity we will measure. Say just now I mentioned the architect wanted to add one door and then remove some windows. So we have to adjust the quantities. The door become less, one number. Window become more. So the quantity will have to be shown in this variation order. So along the project, each day the contractor will get a few AI or one AI, depending on the changes. So each week there may be a few AI or a few VO. So we compile all the VO. At the end of the day, the original contract sum when we will award to you was X dollars. Now we got all the VO can be plus or minus. So original contract sum plus or minus all the VO can be a few pages of VO. Then the bottom line is a new contract sum. That will be the final account.
so the real one.
To capture all the changes along the way. So we prepare that document, we call it a statement of final accounts. And then the contractor sign on that, the architect sign on it, the client sign on it. And then once the document is signed, the contractor usually has to, we don't pay the full amount of it, we usually have retention in the certificate. Say the work done is, say the value of work done is X dollars, we retain 10% of the value, up to a maximum of 5% for retention. So we don't pay everything in full. The retention is mainly to cover for defective works. If a contractor has made some defective works, then we have some money hold back from the contractor. And then once final account is signed, that means final is the end of the project already. The contractor will, we have a period called a defects liability period. Usually 12 months or can be longer. So for the 12 months, if there's any defect that appears during this 12 months, the contractor has to come back and make good repair. Not for that 12 months.
After the building is completed.
Yeah, after building completed,
It's just repair the defects.
like you buy a house, right? And then you move into the house.
Then find out.
Then you find out the roof leaks on the 3rd month. After you move in, okay, everything okay, the roof doesn't leak. A month third month, the roof starts to leak. So you lodge a complaint to the developer. And then the developer will collect all these defects, and then he will inform the contractor of this house, the roof is leaking. So the contractor will come back and repair the roof. This one, if the contractor's own fault, he will not be paid for the repair. Okay? He won't be paid if it was due to his own fault. If it was due to some design error, then the contractor will be paid for it. So this will continue. Maybe in the 5th month, something happens. The slab crack.
Okay.
The car porch, the slab crack. So the contractor will come back and maybe the engineer have to investigate why the crack was there. Is it due to the contractor's fault?
So the QS will pay the money.
If it's due to the contractor's fault, we don't pay.
Okay.
The contractor is supposed to do it at his own cost.
Okay. If it's not his fault, then
If it's not his fault, then we will evaluate the additional cost for him to do, and then we will pay him.
so if the whole project, right, they want to make this project, but the developer he don't want to hire a QS, what will happen to the project?
Then he will have to do the work of the QS.
Or do everything himself?
So some developers, they are quite big. They have within their office, their organization, they have QS department, they have design department. So these people within their QS department, they will do the work of the QS.
So other than the contractor claim too much money and all the stuff, what other problems do quantity surveyors normally face?
There may be contractual claims by the contractor to the developer. You say usually it involves delays, because when the contractor faces delays, remember I told you earlier the letter of award got date of commencement and date of completion. These 2 dates are very important. It's in the document really. So if come to the completion date, the contractor cannot finish his work as stated in the letter, which he already signed. He agreed to complete on that day. Say the letter says you must complete by 31st of December 2014, end of this year. By next year, 1st January 2015, the work still not completed. What will happen to the contractor? The contractor will be imposed with what we call liquidated damages per day. In the document, in the contract document, we have stated in the amount the liquidated damages can be 2,000 or 3,000 or can be hundreds of thousands per day. For each day that the contractor cannot complete, each day he delays the completion date, the client or the developer will impose these liquidated damages per day. So the contractor delays 5 days. He's supposed to complete by 31st of December, right? He completed only on the 4th of January or 5th of January. So 5 days delay. So the developer will impose on him the liquidated damages multiplied by 5 days and deduct from the contractor's. So a lot of these contractors usually don't like people to deduct money from them. So they may argue, they may submit counter arguments why they will submit what we call extension of time to the architect. Architect will have to evaluate the extension of time. Say the contractor submits an extension of time for 30 days. It means he says, I need 30 more days to complete the work. Originally it was 31st of December. He says I need 30 more days, therefore I need to complete the work until 30th of January 2015.
So the QS needs to calculate again on the liquidated damage.
The liquidated damages will be calculated. It's very complicated for now. I cannot explain to you here. But the architect will issue the extension of time. Contractor say I need 30 days. The architect may say you only need 20 days. So he will issue to the contractor a certificate called the extension of time for 20 days. So the contractor got extra 20 days to complete. So extend up to 20th of January. He needs to finish. If by the 20th of January or 21st of January he still cannot complete, then the client will charge him liquidated damages. So all these are contractual problems the contractor may face, so they may challenge the client. They will write in contractual letter.
So what does the QS play the role is?
Our role is more on assessing we don't assess extension of time claims. We assess more on cost. When the contractor submits, because he got extension of time, say just now 20 days, right? The 20 days extra that the contractor needs to be on site will incur additional costs for him. Why? Because he need to pay the salary of his workers for another 20 days, the electricity charges, the water, hiring machineries, all got to pay more. He could be paying more time, right? 20 days. So he will claim all this to the client, and then we, as quantity service, we will evaluate all these claims, whether they are acceptable, too high. Then we will evaluate and then we recommend to the employer, developer. Our costing more involves always on costs.
So
costing.
Everything is about cost.
Cost,
right?
yes.
So do you read the engineering and architectural drawings?
Yes, yes. Yeah. For us to prepare the cost, we need to study the architect's drawing, the engineer's drawings, in order to do measurements on the additional work or the omission work the architect. Remember I mentioned?
Yeah.
New door, right?
Right.
Yeah. Architect will show on the drawing. Maybe 10 new doors. We need to study the drawing where the door may be many types, maybe glass door, timber door, metal door, right? So each door got different price. So we count 5 glass doors, 3 timber door, 1 metal door. Some doors small, bigger. Right. So the prices are different. So we got to do all this calculation.
So you need to have the full understanding of how to read the
yes. So for QS, you must be able to understand when you read the architectural drawings, the civil drawings, the structural drawings, the landscape architectural drawings. You must be able to understand all these drawings and measure from them. Have you done measurement or not? You're not. What course are you doing? Foundations, huh?
Right.
So you haven't done. You haven't entered into
beginning
the QS course yet, right? You haven't.
No. But we have like half of the QS, half of the architects. The foundation supports both. So after that we'll split off to different degrees.
So you have not decided whether you want to do architectural.
We have decided.
You have decided. What have you decided?
One was architecture, but
Mine is QS.
QS.
architecture.
Architecture. Oh, only one QS.
Yeah.
All the rest all architecture.
Yeah, but our project involves